Okay, buckle up, everyone. We are diving deep today into
Oh,
a topic that comes straight from you, our listener,
yeah.
and it's one that promises to be absolutely delicious and, well, incredibly insightful. We're opening the kitchen door to Moroccan cuisine.
That's right. We've looked through your sources, articles, papers, notes, and what they show is that Moroccan food, it isn't just about taste, is it? It's like a story woven right into the identity and history of Morocco.
Exactly. So our mission, using these sources is to peel back those layers. We want to really get at the history, the identity, and the cultural weight that's baked into these food traditions.
Think of it as seeing Morocco through its meals.
Yeah, a shortcut.
And that's a really powerful way in. One source mentions this idea, it's common in anthropology, that the passage into understanding a society, it's often through the kitchen, through its food strategy.
Soup strategy. Interesting term.
Yeah, the ways food is prepped, presented, managed, shared. It's not just logistics. It tells this long, intricate story about identity, practices, relationships, and, that basic human thing of belonging.
I love that framing. It takes food from just fuel to like a cultural cornerstone. So starting there, the foundation, where does all this richness come from? What are the sources saying?
Well, the absolute bedrock of Moroccan cuisine is its history. It was a real crossroads of cultures. It's known everywhere for being this amazing blend of influences that have sort of met and mingled over centuries.
Right, you see those mainstreams mentioned again and again.
Yeah.
Arab, Berber, or Amazigh.
Amazigh, then Andalusi, Mediterranean, and broader African cuisines, too. It really does sound like a culinary meeting point.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And then the sources add more layers, like significant Jewish influences, Moorish legacies, even some Ottoman touches interacting with those, local Berber and Arab traditions.
Morocco's geography plays a huge part, right? Stuck there at the northwest bit of Africa, looking over at Europe.
Yeah, across the Strait of Gibraltar.
Sure.
And then the Sahara stretching south.
Exactly. So historically, it was just this magnet for trade routes, for people moving, for cultural exchange.
So the Moroccan table wasn't just about eating. It was literally where cultures met. East met west, north met south.
Precisely. And this isn't just some academic point. The sources are clear. This diversity isn't just added on, it's central to Moroccan identity itself. The food is like a living expression of this layered self.
Okay, so embodying the Islamic heritage, the Amazigh identity.
The Sahrawi Hassani influences from the south, plus those rich streams from Africa, Andalusia, the Moors, and Jews who came Hebrew traditions, the whole Mediterranean world, it's all in there.
Wow. It really shows how food can mirror a whole nation's journey. And these sources trace it way back, mentioning things still visible today from, the 7th century BC?
Yeah, that kind of longevity. It just speaks volumes about how deep these roots go.
It's not something new. It's ancient, evolved.
Exactly. It underscores how deeply rooted it all is. Okay, so that's the foundation. Shall we move on to what hits your senses? The flavors, the ingredients.
Okay, yes, this is where it gets exciting for anyone who loves, vibrant, aromatic food. Moroccan cuisine is just famous for bold, complex flavors.
And the sources pin that directly on the spices. The extensive, really skillful use of spices. I mean, the list is long, but they highlight key ones like saffron.
Often from specific places like Talloween, right? Known for quality.
That's the one. Then cinnamon, cumin, ginger, turmeric, paprika. They're the backbone of so many dishes.
And then there's Ras El Hanout. That always sounds so mystical.
It kind of is.
Oh.
Roughly head of the shop. It means the spice merchant's absolute best blend.
Okay.
And as sources say, it's not one fixed recipe. A single blend might have, one source mentioned 27 different spices, maybe more. Creates a unique signature.
27, wow. It really is like culinary artistry in one mix. And while some spices obviously came via trade routes, the sources also stress that many key ingredients are homegrown or grown locally for ages.
Absolutely. Think of the mint from Meknes, essential for that iconic tea.
Of course.
Or the olives and olive oil, also associated with Meknes. Oranges, lemons from Fez. Morocco has incredible produce and long agricultural traditions that are just fundamental.
So beyond spices and the big produce items, what other key flavors pop up again and again?
The sources point to things like preserved lemon, that really tangy, almost floral element in tagines.
Love preserved lemon.
Argan oil, especially down south. And Fezman that's aged, fermented butter, adds this deep, savory, almost cheesy note. Really unique. And of course, good olive oil is everywhere.
Okay. And the basic building blocks.
Yeah.
The main ingredients list.
Well, a huge range of Mediterranean fruits and vegetables, naturally. Then some less expected things, like snails are mentioned for street food and soups.
Snails, right?
Protein-wise, lots of beef, goat, mutton, lamb, chicken, often slow-cooked, and tons of seafood thanks to the long coastlines. Dried fruits are key too. Apricots, dates, raisins especially, for getting that sweet and savory balance.
Ah, yes, that balance. It's such a defining thing, isn't it? Sweetness with the savory.
It really is. The sources highlight it constantly, especially in tagines and pastilla. You find plums or apricots or raisins cooked right alongside the meat and spices. It gives you this complex layering of flavors that just screams Morocco.
Okay, so we've got the history, the flavors, the ingredients. Let's talk stars of the show. The actual dishes, the meals, the whole experience. How does a typical Moroccan meal go based on the sources?
Well, they often kick off with salads, a whole array, hot and cold. The sources name-check zalalouk.
That's the eggplant one.
Yeah, cooked eggplant, tomato, garlic, delicious. Then taktuka, similar, but with roasted peppers and tomatoes. And bakula, or kubiza, that's steamed mallow leaves, often with preserved lemon and olives, little bursts of flavor to start.
A colorful start. Then the main course, I assume.
Absolutely. And the main dishes are, well, legendary. Couscous comes up everywhere, naturally. A national staple, often served communally, usually with meat and lots of vegetables. A famous version mentioned is with tfaya. That's this amazing sweet topping of caramelized onions, raisins, sometimes almonds, flavored with sugar, butter, cinnamon. Hits that sweet note again.
You really can't talk Moroccan food without couscous. And its partner in crime. The tagine.
The tagine, yeah, named for that unique conical pot it's cooked in, slow cooked.
Right, the pot does the work.
Kinda, yeah. The sources describe countless variations. Different meats, lamb and chicken, are super common, cooked with vegetables, olives that preserve lemon, dried fruits, all those spices. The pot helps make everything tender and melts the flavors.
And pastilla. Pastilla, that amazing pie.
Yes. That complex, flaky, savory pastry, usually made with super thin worka dough, traditionally filled with pigeon, almond spices, then dusted with powdered sugar and cinnamon.
The ultimate sweet-savory combo, maybe.
It's a perfect example, yeah. Elaborate. The sources also list others like tangia, slow-cooked meat, traditionally in a clay urn, often a Marrakech thing, associated with men cooking it.
Interesting.
Routsia, a sweet lamb tagine with raisins and honey, often for Eid al-Adha. And harira, that really hearty soup, especially important during Ramadan.
It really sounds like every dish has a story tied to a place or a time. And Morocco's geography. That long coastline must mean seafood's important too.
Oh, hugely important. The sources talk about the abundance of fresh fish, sole, swordfish, tuna, mackerel, sardines. Morocco's a massive sardine exporter, actually.
Didn't know that.
And the seafood turns up in tagines, in those little fried pastries called brioat, even in influenced dishes like seafood paella in some coastal spots.
An anchor, the thing that's always there. Bread.
Cubs. The sources call it fundamental, usually made from durum wheat semolina. They stress how it's baked fresh, daily, it's everywhere. And it's not just something with the meal.
You use it to eat, right?
Exactly. Often used like a utensil, especially scooping from communal dishes, shows how central and unifying it is.
So vital it changes how you eat. We mentioned harira soup for Ramadan. Any other soups?
Harira is the main heavy one, often eaten with dates and bread to break the fast. But the sources also mention baybouche. That's the savory, spicy snail soup. Traditional street food, kind of a delicacy.
Right, the snails again. Ties back. Okay, what about the sweet side? Desserts.
The sources suggest fresh seasonal fruit is very common, just letting the quality of the local produce shine. But there are definitely pastries, Cobb, El Gazelle, gazelle ankles, those crescent shapes filled with almond paste.
Oh, those are famous.
And halwa chabakia, that flower-shaped fried dough, drenched in honey, sesame seeds. You see it everywhere during Ramadan.
And to drink, there's one obvious one.
Moroccan mint tea, aite. The source is painted as more than a drink, it's a ritual. An art form, even. They mention the whole pouring technique, from high up to get the foam.
Creates the bubbles, yeah.
And serving it with those big cones or lumps of sugar, so you adjust the sweetness. It's offered everywhere, means hospitality. Fresh orange juice is also super popular, readily available.
The act of drinking the tea sounds almost as important as the tea itself.
Okay.
Meals, drinks. What about casual food? Street food.
Oh yeah, street food's a huge part of the culture. especially famously in places like Jama el Fana Square in Marrakech. The sources list things like maquita potato fritters,
Yeah.
bocadillos, Spanish-influenced sandwiches, and those street snails, babouche. There are also dairy shops, malaba for milky drinks and snacks. It's a really lively scene.
It's so clear that this journey through the food is about way more than just recipes, which brings us back to that deeper meaning.
Absolutely. And this is where the sources really tie it all together. Moroccan cuisine, fundamentally, it's more than just sustenance. It's deeply woven into the country's history, its regional differences, its whole cultural fabric.
So the way things are cooked, served, managed in a home or community. These reflect older ideas about identity, how things are done, relationships, belonging, all that stuff you mentioned earlier.
Precisely. You see it in the region's coast, loves seafood. Inland prefers heartier stews. The techniques themselves, pickling, drying, smoking, grilling, steaming, they aren't just random. The sources show how they point to history, to exchange with neighbors.
Like a nonstop culinary conversation over centuries captured in the food.
Exactly. And the social side is critical. The sources really emphasize Moroccan food culture is about gathering, celebrating, managing resources well. Meals are often full of ritual, highlighting generosity, hospitality. Sharing food actively strengthens social ties, community bonds.
That connects perfectly back to that powerful anthropological idea from the start.
It does, that it's not just what we eat, but how we eat and with whom. The sources frame food here as a core cultural product. It's used to show where you belong, regional dishes. It can signal social status. Historically, maybe even political leanings or beliefs. It carries real cultural weight.
So Moroccan cuisine, with all its diversity, its layers of influence, its role in daily life, it's not just delicious, it's making a statement.
It really is. It's proof of Morocco's long history of blending influences, creating something unique and dynamic. The sources keep calling Morocco a land of communication and cultural interaction, and the food is maybe the most vivid proof of that.
What an incredible journey through these sources.
Yeah.
We aim to get the history, identity, significance of Moroccan cuisine, and what emerges is this incredibly rich, complex tapestry, woven from centuries of exchange, tradition.
Yeah, it becomes so clear that every spice blend, every shared dish, every cup of tea tells a story. Not just about flavor, but about Morocco's diverse identity, its crossroads history, those deep values of hospitality and community.
It absolutely does. Makes you look at all food a bit differently, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what we eat, how we make it, and especially who we share it with. That's telling a story about our own history, our own connections.
Definitely a reminder to look beyond just the plate in our own lives, too.
So, building on that idea that food really reflects identity and relationships, here's something for you to think about. Consider your own food traditions, the ones you grew up with or share now. What parts of those traditions speak loudest about your background, your family, the bonds you value? What story is your food telling?
A lot to chew on there, indeed.
Deep Dive Morocco podcast.